An exciting new patch from Helldivers 2 landed today. 1.0.3 is out today. Let's have a look. By the way, today's patch is massive, so we are going to make this into 2 videos so that it isn't a massively long video. We're going to look after the guns and the stratagems in the first video, and then we're going to look at all of the game balancing things that they've done, including things to enemies, spawn patrols, and some quality of life stuff in our second video. I'll link them all down below, and each to one another, and it'll be great. So we'll get right to it. Coming to you with the wee prick himself, Winston Churchill, and it is a big day for Helldivers 2 today. Patch 1.000.3 is out. A lot of game balancing issues, a lot of weapon changes, some buffs, some nerfs, changes to some enemies, changes to some stratagems. They fixed a bunch of stuff. And there's still a few things that they're still working on, and we appreciate everything that they do. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns about anything that we're covering on today's video, please leave them in a comment below. We will be very happy to talk to you about them. And also, maybe while you're doing that, you could give the video a like and maybe a subscribe. It would certainly help us build a community up and bring more videos to you. Also, it helps with the self-esteem of Winston Churchill. He needs the love. Let's get into it. In fact, right now, let's start looking at the patch. So just as an overview, this patch, they have made some improvements and changes, as I've said, to the following areas: balance changes to weapons, stratagems, and enemies. Changes to the spread democracy mission. We'll get to that in a minute. We're also doing some balancing with this patch. Armors with an armor rating above 100 now also reduce damage on headshots. No idea exactly how much, but let's face it, taking a rocket from across the map to the head is an insta-kill. It's okay when we do that to them, but let's not have that do them. And the victory poses will now only play for the extracted. The onlookers don't get any victory poses. If you didn't make it into Pelican 1, then you're looking on from the sidelines. Primary, secondary, and support weapon changes. We're going to go through this pretty detailed. The exploding crossbow, slightly smaller explosion, increasing the stagger, decreasing the number of maximum mags from 12 to 8, increasing the number of magazines received from resupply from 6 to 8. A slight reduction in ergonomics, and the muzzle velocity is increased, which means less drop-off. So some testing is needed. We will see if this makes this weapon any good. For me, I did not dig it. The Quasar cannon is going to have an increased recharge time by 5 seconds. That's which is massive. That's a long time on the recharge on that. I think that the recharge on it before was like 4 seconds. So if this means that recharging the Quasar is now 9 seconds, this is going to change how useful this item is on some maps and some difficulty levels, because we've been able to mitigate that 4-second recharge time, but now if it's up to 9 seconds, it's almost a fire and forget. It's fire it off long range, and then if you're like me and you can't hit the broadside of a barn, then you're going to need you're maybe looking at a different secondary for large enemies. The Adjudicator was this is getting a bit of a buff. The full auto is now the default fire mode. You got reduced recoil, which is amazing because the recoil on this was absolutely horrendous before. They're increasing the maximum number of mags from 6 to 8, increasing the number of magazines received from resupply from 6 to 8, and it is now amongst the assault rifles rather than a marksman. And this may make this good because remember the Adjudicator has explosive damage as well. So this could make this a better weapon. Time will tell. The laser cannon is getting a slightly increased damage buff and slightly reduced damage versus large volume bodies. I assume that is referring to the heavies, bugs, chargers, bile titans. Bots would be the factory striders, the tanks, and the hulks. So some testing is required there. The Punisher Plasma. It is going into the energy weapons category. It was a shotgun before. They're decreasing the maximum mags from 12 to 8, but increasing the amount of mags received from resupply from 6 to 8. They are increasing the projectile speed, so things will get downrange faster, and it will keep a similar range, but they're decreasing half damage fall off on the explosion, so not as large an area for the explosion. Whether that means we'll be able to take out larger groups of the low-level enemies, time will tell. The Blitzer is getting a change as well. It's also being placed in the energy weapons category, and the increased shots now per minute from 30 to 45. That could make this a little bit better, particularly with the later ship modules that increase the number of targets that energy weapons hit. So we'll have to see. This may make the Blitzer a little more attractive, folks who don't like to constantly be looking for ammo all the time because it's an energy weapon. So that could be good. The Eruptor, they are decreasing the number of maximum mags from 12 to 6. The explosion damage dropping off slightly faster, which means you won't be getting as large an explosion, and you will have to look for ammo more often. Sickle is being decreased from 6 magazines down to 3. I don't think this is going to be an issue if you are managing the sickle's temperature well. So it may mean that you need to think about your secondary a little more often and switch out to that while you're letting your sickle cool down before you can bring it back up. The Scythe is getting increased damage from 300 to 350 and decreasing the max number of mags down from 6 down to 4. That could make the Scythe a little more attractive to some folks. Were you looking for a railgun buff? We've got a railgun buff for you. Increasing the armor penetration in both safe mode and unsafe mode. And stagger force is slightly reduced. Don't forget that the railgun can still blow up on you and insta-kill you unless you're wearing that heavy armor. The heavy machine gun, third-person crosshair enabled. Diligence counter sniper, getting an increase to damage. The Diligence, also an increase in damage. The P19 Redeemer, a slight increase in recoil. The Peacemaker, a slight increase in damage. And the Senator, an increase in damage, but the big one for the Senator is a speed loader. So when you are completely out, this will rapidly reload the gun and make that a lot better. I love the Senator, but hate running out. It just takes forever to reload before. So now it should be better. The Dagger, that's the laser pistol, getting an increase from damage. Liberator getting an increase. Liberator concussive, all getting increased damage. The Dominator and the Guard Dog Rover decreasing some damage. The Guard Dog, a slight increase in damage, but the burning damage is being reduced. So those are your primary, secondary, and support weapon buffs and nerfs. If you have enjoyed this video in any small way, then please, as I mentioned, give us a like and maybe a subscribe. Everything goes, towards Winston Churchill and his further education. It's been great to see you. Please join us live on Twitch or here on YouTube on Mondays to Wednesdays. The links will be down below in the chat. Until next time, we'll see you on the front lines, soldier.